Hello everyone, good evening and welcome to today's webinar. Thank you for taking out your precious time and joining us with the great webinar. We'll start with the same. So first of all, I like to set up some rules for the webinar, let's say, and I'll just set up the context. So we'll be taking this webinar into two parts where first I'll be sharing you what is IFANOW Growth Plus initiative. And after that, I'll be handing over to Mr. Tejas. Mr. Tejas Patil is a co-founder of Arbour Investments, who is one of the manufacturers for real estate NCD. So he has joined us today. I'll introduce him, later on when his part comes. I'm very happy that he's part of this webinar today. He has joined us. So to set up some rules, we'll not take the questions in between the webinar. Whatever questions you have, you can mention it in the chat box in the Q&A section. My team is there, and Mr. Tejas' team is also there in this webinar. They will be handling the questions. Post the webinar ends, once Mr. Tejas also has completed his presentation of the product, then we'll take up the questions one by one. So just let me share my screen. So I hope my screen is visible. Gina, can you confirm whether my screen is visible?
No, not yet.
Okay, and my voice is clear, right?
Yes, it's visible now and your voice is clear.
Okay, thank you for the confirmation. So, all right. So before I start with the whole Growth Plus initiative, I'll just speak about a minute for IFA now. So, what is IFA now? Because I can see many people have joined for the first time and they are new to IFA now. So, IFA now is essentially a practice management solution for IFAs and wealth managers, MFDs, RIAs, and our platform combines the front office, uh, middle office, and the back office for IFAs, and it combines the functionalities that a normal wealth management setup or a financial advisory firm needs on a day-to-day basis. Now it is a vision to have a very 360-degree solution set for our core users. That's what we have built over the years. So right from back office solution, transaction capabilities, tracking, reporting, business analytics, business intelligence, CRM, white labeling, so it's a very full stack holistic platform, and our DNA was into mutual funds. But alongside that, we have very expensive solutions for multi-asset tracking, reporting, including net worth, including reporting of cash flow analysis. We have goal planning, insurance planning, cash flow based planning. So it's a very complete 360-degree multi-asset platform currently and used by over 2,500 happy advisors. So this is what we have built over the years. Now that we see more and more multi-asset is becoming, I would say, a definitive growth part for the IFA or wealth management setup. And nowadays, client also see beyond traditional investments where FD and mutual funds have been a very powerful engine, what I would say. But yes, but they have, currently where we see each of our practice, these products have lost their shimmer. Now people want something which is not that heavily commoditized. They want something innovative, something more out of the box. And so basically that's the reason this type of products are coming into the picture, where we can see multi-product setup, and are it's coming into light. We see it as a very important paradigm for IFAs, wealth managers, or any financial intermediaries to get into. So through the Growth Plus initiative, we are in essentially solving the problem that a modern IFA setup faces. Now, let me jump right into the problems what a IFA or an advisor currently faces. So there are these six problems are generally faced by all the IFAs or modern wealth managers, where we have seen it's a fragmented product ecosystem. There are many problems related to the products ecosystem. Advisors or RIAs or IFAs do not know about such products which are there into market, creating a good IRR and creating a wealth. Apart from equities, traditional investments also today. Lack of single relationship management has been there because there are multiple manufacturers where you need to go and tie up, where you go and empowerment with them. And in that case, what happens, there are multiple RMs assigned to you. So you have to run around between those RMs for each and every different products and get the information and get the transactions done. Third issue is lack of product expertise and training gaps. So IFAs or wealth managers do not know about many products apart from the traditional ones. So they do not have the expertise to present it to their clients. So what their client might take apart from mutual funds also, that is one issue. Other issue is difficulty in upselling and cross selling. So basically HNIs, UHNIs clients are there with IFAs, but they do not know what product or what type of product can be sold to them, or what kind of product can be placed where. Fifth is lack of marketing and sales support. This is one of the major issue where an IFA faces. So, and sixth is complicated and delayed payout processes. So these are the six problems which we have identified, which has the current wealth managers or IFAs are facing. That's the reason we have introduced IFANOW Growth Plus. And the major part where we are solving is curated product basket. There are multiple products in the market, multiple manufacturers, but we have done tie-ups with the best of the best manufacturers. Let's say today's product which we are going to showcase before you, which is real estate NCD. Arbour Investments we have tied up, which is one of the best, one of the India's leading real estate manufacturer for these NCDs. Product expansion support we are going to do in the curated product basket, where we have vetted the best manufacturers, the best product lines for you. End-to-end support will be given to you, where dedicated RM, a single RM would be assigned to you under Growth Plus, who will be helping you out with all the products, with all the 17 plus products which are currently live through the Growth Plus program. The RM will give you sales coaching. They will help you with the marketing collaterals. We will be helping you with the resources part, where you will be getting the complete sales toolkit basically in the Growth Plus. You will be a dedicated expert relationship will be given to you, where in many cases if you want a co-pitch to your clients with from our side, we will help you, definitely help you out. Minimum the operational efficiency is being created into Growth Plus. Why? Because there is with a single empanelment you get access to 30 plus manufacturers to the Growth Plus initiative, and across 17 plus products, as I said. So this is a list of products which is currently live in the platform, where multiple products are there, which you can which we have also built in the system in a way that you get an idea if a middle class person, what type of products you can pitch into. A retail customer, you can pitch to what products, you can pitch what products to a HNI or a UHNI, and accordingly we have built in a many great manner. So yes, it's a end-to-end support, holistic support from our lucrative commissions are there under Growth Plus initiative. So all-in-one product access you get under Growth Plus, and it's a ready-to-use module basically. So this is all from my side for the Growth Plus initiative. Now I'll introduce Mr. Tejas. So we have a very special guest today, Mr. Tejas Patil. He is the co-founder of Arbour Investments, India's leading real estate focused investment management fund. Under his strategic guidance, Arbour created 20 plus investment opportunities valued at IRR 500 crores, delivering impressive returns of 18 to 20%, and he has helped to provide 11 successful exits, and all this in just 4 years. So, with over 23 years of his illustrious experience into the finance industry, he's a JBIMS alumnus and then one of the sharpest minds in alternative investments. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Tejas. Mr. Tejas, over to you.
Thank you so much, Avinash, for the kind introduction. Appreciate it. And thank you, everyone present in the webinar, all the attendees to spend their valuable time on a Saturday afternoon, and that too after lunch. So I appreciate it. So, like Avinash mentioned, I will briefly give you a background about what Arbor is and how Arbor has been structuring transactions and what is the difference between an NCD or a product which comes from Arbor's kitty as compared to any other NCD in the market. So that will give you a much clearer idea, because if you are ever doing any NCD in the market, you would know what investors are talking and what investors are asking about when they are investing, before they are investing in an NCD. So let me start with giving the background about Arbour. Uh, Avinash mentioned 4 years. Now we are in the fifth year, of course. August will finish the fifth year for us. And in these last 4.5 years, um, we three of us have spent a lot of our time, energies, and monies to bring Arbour ahead. All of us put together have around 60 years of pure and only real estate experience. And by that, I mean that we have seen two complete cycles of real estate right from 2006. So that helps understand what exactly goes in the real estate industry on the ground and from an investor's perspective. So, coming to my background, I've been here for more than 23 years, like Avinash mentioned. Before Arbour, I was heading real estate investments at Royal Bank of Scotland, which is now called Sanctum Wealth. And before Sanctum, I founded a fund called Nices Finance, which is a listed fund today. And before that, I was heading alternate investments at the ASK Wealth Advisory Group, which is today ASK Blackstone. And before that, I had started my career in Axis Bank on the capital market side, where I was doing a lot of convertible bonds and exotic structures, but predominantly on real estate and infrastructure companies. So I've seen debt predominantly, but I've also seen private equity and multiple other strategies, which all fall under alternate investments and which are usually highly structured. And the reason for any transaction which is structured is that it allows for the investors to reduce the risk significantly because of the structuring without hampering the returns. As simple as that, so that there is a true meaning to the word that we normally use, or the sentence that we normally use, which is the risk adjusted return. Right. So that's what we did, and we applied to real estate industry. So how we started was we started in August 2021, but our idea actually started in 2019, where we studied most of the defaults in the industry across India, and that gave us a pretty good idea as to the gimmicks or the tricks that developers use to default in the industry, because of which the industry had taken and even today has some negative connotation around it. So that helped us know exactly how to invest, and in a manner which is completely or as much as possible controlled by us, right? So when you say control, of course, it means that you only control the inputs and the operations. You can't control the outcome. But we have tried to figure out ways where we are, if not, we are mitigating the risk completely down to zero. We are at least in complete control of the operation, so that we can modify or maneuver the output very, very clearly. Because when we invest, we always invest for exiting, right? And that is exactly what we did from an investor's perspective. So in real estate, I will start from the back, from the exit point of view, because that is exactly what is of interest to the investors. Most of them really will not understand the product completely. So it is very important to tell them what they would know and they would like to hear, and then go back to the risks that they would like to understand. So in real estate, the only way any investment can exit is organically or inorganically. Correct? Now, because it is an NCD, which is a non-convertible debenture, these debentures are in the demat of the subscriber or the investor. The only way you can exit is if the developer gives the money back from the project. Correct? And to get the monies back from any real estate residential project is to be able to expedite the sales without hampering any cover that we all normally have, right? So what we recently did was we acquired a real estate mandate sales company, which is a listed firm called Justo, Justo, which is an expert in selling real estate inventory on a mandate basis, which means they take up the entire project and then sell it, right? And their clients are thousands and thousands of real estate brokers, and it is completely tech driven. And there are more than 500 people in the company. And this company, Justo, does close to 400 to 500 crores of sales every month, which means roughly 4,000 to 5,000 crores every year. And this has given us the confidence that tomorrow, when we invest in any residential project anywhere in the country, we do not have to depend on the developer's promise that he will give us the monies back. Correct? Very simple solution of no matter what you do, if the developer, whether it's a DLF or whether it's a no DLF or really no name in the industry, the only differentiator between a successful developer and a non-successful developer is whether he's able to sell the project properly and fairly and ethically. Correct? So that is exactly we realize that the biggest risk today in any residential project and hence residential project investment that we do is sales. Now, because of this, which my company or the acquired company does 500 crores a month, it is not difficult for us to believe on the fact that if we are doing a 100 crore investment, which normally has a tenure of 3 years, it will not be too difficult for us to, in the eventuality, buck up my company, own company with my own strength without depending on the developer or the market forces to give me an exit. Correct? So because see, normally if you put things in context, any developer or any NCD issuer is promising you exit basis his own expertise. But in real estate, developers, even though they have sales teams, in real estate, the sales is only and only done by brokers. Very few developers have direct clients. When they pick up the phone, then reach out to people. But more or less, it's done majorly by real estate brokers. So in a way, when I'm investing in a company and the company is promising me exit, it means that it is promising me an exit basis the confidence of the brokers who are going to give him sales, and that confidence is given to me, right? In a way, so what we're saying is if I'm investing, I'm depending on the brokers to give me an exit, which is a very, very difficult truth to accept. Correct? And that is exactly what we did. We controlled the organic exit in a way that we have done it in the past in a couple of projects, even before the developer was in trouble, and now those projects are on a auto mode. So that is the first way of exiting organically. The other way, which also the industry uses, is to exit it inorganically, where these NCDs in our portfolio, which are doing really well, are always sought after by other institutions, which are banks, NBFCs, and other alternate investment funds. And that is usually the case because once we enter the transaction and we cook them and we really nurture them well for the next 2 years, they become extremely bankable. And we have a lot of institutions who are willing to take it away from our books. And that is possible because we have created a very strong capital markets team also. This capital markets team is able to reach out to all the institutional investors who are warm to investing in real estate. There is no third way of exit in real estate. Okay, the developer may promise, but this promise is usually coming from the project only, because developer, assuming that the developer will have money from his own pocket, is a very hypothetical scenario. It doesn't exist because most of his monies are always blocked in projects. So now that we have control of the exit, which means that the source of money is in my control, right? Now the next problem is this monies need to be actually managed well so that they are not misutilized or underutilized by the developer in the project. Correct? And that is the second risk that we control. We control the execution risk by doing a lot of things. And that is where 25 years of our experience has been useful. Because, and this is where the investors usually shy away from real estate because they believe that the developer is a crook and he is going to default. And there is some problem with the real estate industry because money doesn't go into the project, money goes into the developer's pocket. There is a lot of cash and there is a lot of technical issues. There is a lot of what do you say, misrepresentation done by the developer. All of these things are actually operational issues and execution issues. So what we have done is we have done 3-4 things which are not normal in a normal real estate NCD investment done by any other institution in the country. The first thing we do is we control 100% of the accounts. Many banks, NBFCs do it, but they abide by the RERA rules where they are allowed to control 70% of the monies which are as per RERA allowed to go into the project. We do 100% of the control of the monies because we believe that the 30% which is usually allowed as per RERA for the promoter to use for operational reasons can also become a problem because no project usually has more than 30% margin. तो अगर वो 30% margin ही मैं उसको लेकर जाने दे दूंगा, then after the 30% money is gone, the developer has really no incentive to finish the project. और इस वजह से project अटक जाता है बीच में and the developer raises his hand and says अभी आपको जो करना है कर लो, and that leads to NPAs and that leads to a lot of haircuts. इसलिए lot in the past we have seen institutions taking haircuts. 100 रुपए मैंने principal डाला है और मुझे 5, 10, 15, 20 रुपए वापस आ रहा है because developers know exactly how the institutions work. So we went ahead and moved away from this particular way of working. हमने बोला कि ये सारे के सारे पैसे जो हम लोग ही कंट्रोल कर रहे हैं, the source of money is in our control. It will come in an escrow account which we will control 100%. So there is no signing authority to the developer at all. Second thing we did, which is not done by any institution, is that tomorrow, let's say the developer does some jugglery and defaults, and we go to the court and we win through NCLT, SURFACE or mortgage enforcement, all of that, and you win in the court. Court आपको at the end of the day project ही देने वाला है. ये प्रोजेक्ट है, ये प्रोजेक्ट आप ले लीजिए और ये प्रोजेक्ट से आप पैसा निकलवा लीजिए if you can, and whatever you get you distribute amongst your investors. Now when we have seen the entire industry function like this and we have seen that the developers bring the institutions down on their knees, तो कुछ करना जरूरी था from a very very practical point of view, not a theoretical point of view. So practical point of view ये था कि हम लोगों ने जो प्रोजेक्ट है, जिस कंपनी में वो प्रोजेक्ट है, उस कंपनी के शेयर्स को normally सारे institutions share pledge कर लेते हैं. Share pledge is a document which you have to enforce in the court, which takes a lot of time. But we realize that सब लोग PMS तो करते ही हैं. PMS में आप PMS मैनेजर को पावर ऑफ अटर्नी देते हो तो वो आपके PMS में, आपके डीमैट में, आपके प्री अप्रूव्ड पावर ऑफ अटर्नी के वजह से जो परमिशन दी उसके हिसाब से ट्रांजैक्शंस करते रहता है. ये स्टॉक बेच दिया, वो स्टॉक बेच दिया, ये शेयर बेच दिया, ये शेयर्स खरीद लिया. So we realized why can't we do the same thing here, and that is exactly what we did. What we did was we made the developer demat his equity shares of the company in which the project exists, और वो demat के ऊपर हम लोगों ने power of attorney ले लिया. Now how this helps is tomorrow if we see that there is a default coming in the next 3, 6, 9, 12 months, we don't have to wait for enforcement. We can take control of the entire company by transferring the shares using the power of attorney to a custodian and take control of the operations. और एक बार operations आपके control में आ गया, so then you can continue the project just long enough for your sales team to sell it really, really fast and take your money out. Right? So we have seen this happen in the past. We have thankfully had never got an opportunity or a reason to enforce this particular option, but this really works. And इसके लिए हम लोगों ने बड़े-बड़े lawyers and investors and contractors and developers के साथ बैठ के ये technique बनाई थी. Second thing. So third thing. So first thing is control of escrow account 100%. Second is control of the SPV 100%. Third thing हम लोगों ने क्या किया? अगर कोर्ट आपको प्रोजेक्ट दे भी देता है तो आपको तो प्रोजेक्ट रन करना है. Do you have a technical expertise to run the project? Because यहीं पर banks, NBFCs और दूसरे funds मात खा जाते हैं. If the project is stamped as a default, you don't get value out of the project because उसकी value erode हो चुकी है. तो कोई institution आएगा तो आपको वो institution या कोई developer आएगा या कोई भी आएगा जो project take over कर लेगा, he is going to give you pennies to your dollar. right? So that's when we realized we needed to have our own technical expertise also in-house to be able to continue the construction. And that is where we started our own development management entity. And using this development management entity, we have created a fantastic network of contractors and developers who we have an understanding with, that they will come and partner with us at cost or very, very nominal cost plus basis and continue the construction. Because now the company is already in my control because मेरे पास share pledge के ऊपर power of attorney है. And because of that, all we need, अगर मेरी कंपनी, मेरी जो सेल्स कंपनी है वो साल का 4,000 करोड़ बेच सकती है, तो मुझे 100 करोड़ बेचने के लिए टाइम नहीं लगना चाहिए. दैट इज द assumption here. And that's why we just need to ensure that the project is up and running, visible that it is functional, and we sell enough inventory, just enough to get our principal and the promised interest back. And after that, we are willing to hand over the project back to the developer. Now, this integrated approach, where the first part of construction, second part of money, providing the money and ensuring that there is a financial closure, and the third part of sales, which is the exit. यहाँ पर ये तीनों जहाँ पर कंट्रोल में है, ये कोई भी इंस्टीट्यूशन के पास नहीं है. एंड दैट इज व्हेन वी रियलाइज दैट दिस इज अ बिग गैप, एंड दिस इज द गैप in the trust building between investors and the developer and the investment manager also, who is manufacturing the product. So we went to multiple institutions like the LICs of the world, the Blackstones of the world, the Brookfields, and the really, really large companies and funds and the developers. And we asked them if this way of functioning is actually implementable and we are able to form a structure around it, then do you think this will work and this will be successful? And if you think this is successful, would you be willing to invest with us, through us, and give us the right to manage the project right from start to end? And you won't believe, it was 100% yes. Right? So as we speak, in the last 4.5 years, we have been able to conclude 24 transactions worth around 800 odd crores. Initially, we started very small. That's why the amount is not very large. But we have another 1,200 crores in the next 12 months in the pipeline. And out of this 24, we have been successful in exiting 13 transactions now. Avinash had mentioned 11. That is 3 months old information. But now we have 13 exits, 14th on its way. Rest of the 9 transactions are completely standard and regular, not a single day delinquency. And that was achieved because we control the business plan right from day one. And developer को हम लोग day one से guide करते हैं. Now the USP, अभी ये तीनों part जो integrated development है, capital to the consumer or the buyer. When you are controlling this immensely adds to your capability to control the exit or the outcome. But हम लोगों ने एक और चीज realize की by being in this industry for 20 years is that all the institutions today, they monitor and manage the transactions in Excel sheets. Even today, the entire finance industry uses Excel sheet very, very drastically in order to ensure that they get answers. Very few people have been able to realize the risks behind doing this. अच्छे fund भी वही करते हैं, but the problem here is that Excel sheet is only as good as the person who is managing that Excel sheet or the systems in place, and both of them are corruptible. The person is also corruptible and the Excel sheet data is also corruptible because data to developer से ही आता है. And here you are assuming that you need to be 100% in control of everything, which means you need to be in control of the data and you need to be in control of how the data is analyzed, basis which you are taking decisions on a daily basis. हम लोगों ने जब इंस्टीट्यूशंस के पास हम लोग गए, हम लोगों ने ये क्वेश्चन उनको पूछा कि डेवलपर जब एस्क्रो में पैसा डालता है तो हर बार जब सेल्स का पैसा एस्क्रो में आता है और वो आपको पैसा मांगता है कि मुझे 1 करोड़ दे दो, आर्किटेक्ट को देना है, या 2 करोड़ दे दो, मुझे मटेरियल खरीदना है, ऑन व्हाट बेसिस डू यू एक्चुअली अप्रूव दैट इंस्ट्रक्शन? द आंसर वाज कि हमारे पास डेटा है in the Excel sheet, basis which the person or the analyst working on the Excel sheet uses his intuition or uses his expertise to conclude and give it to the IC, the investment committee. Investment committee तो believe करती है जो उसको दिया गया है. Basis that and their intuition, they go ahead and approve the transaction. अभी इसमें अगर data fudged है, which usually is from the developer, because आज वो बोलेगा 100 यूनिट बिके हैं, कल वो बोलेगा नहीं 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 90-80 बिके थे, 2 कैंसिल हो गए. या वो आज बोलेगा कि इतने यूनिट्स पे EOI आ गया, बट वो यूनिट्स बिके ही नहीं कभी. So the data in the Excel sheet is can very easily be falsified. So what we did was we spent a lot of time, energy, and money again, and we created a tech platform. And इसके लिए we hired a chief technology officer who is an Infosys co-founding member, right? So we have not seen a brilliant guy more than him, better than him. And whatever we had in our brains and whatever we have experienced in the past, we coded it in a tech platform. So today, I can tell you, any investor today or any institution today can come, any partner today can come and ask me, Tejas ji, मेरा जो पैसा गया डे 1 पे आपने जो इन्वेस्ट किया प्रोजेक्ट में, वो कहाँ पर गया, वो पैसे से कंस्ट्रक्शन में क्या बदलाव आया, what exactly did the monies do in the project, how has the project moved, do you know exactly when which approval is needed, how many approvals he has taken, how many he has to take, and which approval will need what amount or costing, कौन सा यूनिट कौन से प्राइस पे बिका है, किसको बिका है, कौन से ब्रोकर ने बेचा है, मार्केट प्राइसिंग क्या है. ऑल ऑफ दिस इंफॉर्मेशन इज टेक ड्रिवन एंड इट कैन नॉट बी मैनिपुलेटेड एट ऑल. एंड इससे बेनिफिट ये होता है दैट 95% एरर्स कम हो गए थे हमारे. डिसीजन मेकिंग वेंट अप रियली रियली फास्ट एंड वेंट इम्प्रूव्ड. एंड द बेस्ट थिंग दैट हैपेंड इज कि हम लोगों को डेवलपर का डे 1 से मूवमेंट दिखने लग गया, द ट्रैजेक्टरी दिखने लग गई. एंड व्हेन यू कैन सी द ट्रैजेक्टरी फ्रॉम डे 1 टिल लेट्स से 2 साल, यू कैन वेरी वेल नो वेयर ही इज गोइंग. वो स्लिपरी स्लोप पे है या प्रोजेक्ट ढंग से चलने वाला है इसके आगे भी. बिकॉज वो बेवकूफ हमको 1 महीना ही बना सकता है, बिकॉज एवरी मंथ वी हैव आवर ओन PMC ऑन द ग्राउंड हु फेचेस डेटा फ्रॉम द प्रोजेक्ट, वेरीफाइज इट. आर्किटेक्ट, इंजीनियर, CA के साथ बैठ के हम लोग हर बिल अप्रूव करते हैं या चेक करते हैं, तभी डेटा ये सिस्टम में जाता है. सो सिस्टम डेटा कैन नॉट बी फज्ड. सो वी नो एग्जैक्टली कि नेक्स्ट 12 महीने में, 15 महीने में ये शायद डिफॉल्ट हो सकता है. Why to even continue? And because of this information, we are able to activate our exit mechanism of sales or secondary sale, primary sale through sales or secondary sales through institutions. And that is exactly what we have done so far. And because of this, all these 4 pillars of being able to exit when we want, being able to control the escrow accounts, and being able to control the construction through a 4th tech platform expertise, we have by default become allies or friends of anyone who thinks of real estate today. Developer को हम लोग पैसा दे सकते हैं, discipline दे सकते हैं, so that he behaves like a AAA developer. Investors को all of this is available with their peace of mind that we know exactly what is happening on a daily basis. There is 100% transparency because everything is shared with them, with the investors as is. Investors, the larger ones, institutional investors who are willing to invest a lot of money because there is governance. यहाँ पर this tech system and our transparent mechanisms lead to a good governance mechanism. And contractors also, or sales or brokers also they like to work with us because उनका normally industry में bill clear नहीं होता है developer से, developer उनका पैसा काटता है. So now by coming to us, we are able to control the monies and give it where it is due. 1 रुपया system से बाहर नहीं जा सकता है because everything is in a controlled way put into the project, and the project को हम लोग accelerate करते हैं. And that's why we call our money accelerated working capital, invested through a properly integrated institutional approach. जहां पर कोई isolated risk आपको आके काटेगी नहीं. And this is the philosophy behind any transaction that we do. We check legal जब तक कोई डेवलपर कंप्लीटली लीगल क्लियर नहीं करता है personally and the company with no RERA cases or any legal hassles, we don't move at all. And for this, our partner is Khaitan and Company, which is the number one lawyer with more than 1,600 lawyers in the country. Second, we do a technical due diligence so much that we get into the head of the developer and he is not able to hide anything. जब तक ये टेक्निकल ड्यू डिलिजेंस क्लियर नहीं होता है हम लोग आगे नहीं बढ़ते हैं एंड इट डज नॉट गेट लॉन्च टू द इन्वेस्टर. And for this technical due diligence also, we partner with the best in the country, the top 5 technical agencies in the country, which are used by the Kotaks and the HDFCs or Blackstones or the large funds also. And the third thing we do is financial analysis, कि अगर डेवलपर ने कभी कोई इन्वेंट्री बेची है तो कहीं पैसा बाहर तो नहीं लेकर गया है. वी डू अ प्रॉपर फॉरेंसिक कि भाई ये डेवलपर जिस ब्रोकर से बेचता है या जिस बायर को उसने बेचा है, व्हाट डू दे थिंक अबाउट हिम, उसकी रेपुटेशन कैसी है मार्केट में. बिकॉज एट द एंड ऑफ द डे आप कितना भी साइंटिफिक एनालिसिस कर लो, फाइनली यू टेक अ कॉल टू इन्वेस्ट ओनली थ्रू योर गट फीलिंग और इंट्यूशन. So we need to know किसके साथ काम कर रहे हैं. So we give a lot of weightage to the person who is driving the project as a developer. So ये सारे due diligences जब clear होते हैं तभी जाके आगे we go ahead with the term sheet and we go ahead with the mortgage, and after the mortgage we launch the product in the market to partners. And we only work as a B2B player, which means that I don't have any single investor of my own except the few who started trusting us 5 years ago, जो जिन्होंने हमको help किया business खड़ा करने के लिए. But otherwise, it's a B2B business model. And we like that because we share our revenues with our partners without any hesitation, transparently. This is how much we make, this is how much you're earning, and more often than not, partners earn as much as we do in the entire process. So another thing that I would like to add is, which many investors would ask, is that we know कि कितने देर तक अपना इन्वेस्टमेंट इन्वेस्टेड होना चाहिए एक कोई एनसीडी में. रियल एस्टेट एनसीडी बिहेव्स वेरी डिफरेंटली फ्रॉम अनदर नॉन रियल एस्टेट एनसीडी जो कैश फ्लो बैक्ड होता है. यहाँ पर एसेट बैक्ड होता है, बट टेन्योर, बिकॉज रियल एस्टेट ओपेक है, टेन्योर रिस्क बहुत एक्सट्रीमली हाई होता है. So holding a product for 1 year is different from holding it for 2 years, is different from holding it for 3 years, and very different from holding it for 4 years, right? So we know the best time period to exit a project is between 2 to 3 years. Because if a project is not able to give you an exit, या वो बेच नहीं पाया है खुद को 3 साल तक, मतलब कुछ गड़बड़ है. And you would not be in the right position to continue in getting invested or remaining invested in that project more than 3 years. Although on paper हम लोग 3.5-4 साल का टेन्योर रखते हैं, but हमेशा 12 महीने का बफर रखते हैं, right? So all our exits have been around 2 years of holding period, which is controlled by us only. And by doing this, we justify developer को कि आपका cost of वर्किंग कैपिटल या वेटेड एवरेज कॉस्ट ऑफ कैपिटल हम लोग कम कर रहे हैं. बिकॉज मेरा अगर 16-17-18% है, आई अलाउ हिम टू एग्जिट टू इंस्टीट्यूशंस एट 12-14%. सो वेटेड एवरेज कॉस्ट कम हो जाता है. ही इज ऑलवेज वेरी वेरी हैप्पी दैट वी आर एबल टू गिव हिम कंप्लीट गाइडेंस राइट फ्रॉम डे वन ऑफ फाइनेंशियल क्लोजर टू, लेट्स से, द एग्जिट पीरियड, बिकॉज माई मनी एंड माई इन्वेस्टर्स मनी is involved and controlled, and it's a responsibility on us to be able to give them an exit. One last thing is, we also have, Arbour also has a family office or a prop book, which has been instrumental in helping us ensure that kabhi shortfall hua paise ka, chota ya bada, to be able to sustain the project, we have been able to invest our own money significantly. And that is why we made that as the norm. I don't charge the investors, I invest my own monies. And the most important thing is, I don't earn any income from any of my transactions till we are able to give exit to the investors, right? So which means that अगर मैं अपना पैसा डाल रहा हूँ और मैं अपनी पैसे की कमाई भी एंड में कर रहा हूँ, I would have worked for free if I don't know how to exit. मैं अगर एग्जिट ही नहीं करूंगा तो मेरी कमाई ही नहीं होगी, और मेरा प्रिंसिपल जो खुद का पैसा लगा है, विच इज मोर देन 100 crores टुडे, our family office entity, we would be on the road, if we didn't know what we were doing. So I'll pause here, Avinash. It's been almost half an hour I've been talking. So I would love to hear any questions so that I can then go deeper into the explanations.
Yes, so thank you, Mr. Tejas, for this wonderful presentation of the product, which is real estate NCD. So I guess there is one question in the chat box. I'll just read it out from Mr. Anuj. ही इज आस्किंग कि डीमैट की पावर ऑफ अटर्नी अगर आप ले लेंगे तो इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि आप शेयर्स बिना ओनर के कंसेंट के सेल या प्लेज कर देंगे.
No, this is how it works. There is a custodian that is appointed from day one, and we are able to give 24-hour notice to him to be able to transfer the equity, not demat debentures. I don't know what the question is. The question is debentures or demat? Shares, yes.
Yes.
Yes. So we are able to transfer the ownership, and because the ownership gets transferred, we are able to also appoint directors. हम लोग day one पे वो rights भी ले लेते हैं to be able to appoint any sales agency or any step-in rights to appoint any contractor to be able to take control of the project. And this is not, of course, we are not lawyers. We are guided by the best in the country. And this was a suggestion, just for your information, which has come from one of the largest investors in the country. कि आप ये करोगे based on their experience, then it becomes a pretty close to foolproof system.
Okay. Thank you for that answer, Mr. Tejas. I have Mr. Hemal Vasa in the participants. He has raised his hand. I'll
Yeah.
just allow him to talk.
Sure.
Yes, Mr. Hemal, you can ask your question.
He has to be unmuted. Yeah.
Mr. Hemal, you can unmute
Hello.
yourself and yes.
Hello, I'm audible.
Yes, Hemal bhai, you are.
Sir, say for example, your 18 months or 30 months or 28 months, your NCD is there, right? If payments get delayed, right, whatever may be the reasons, right, whether the investors are getting the whatever you committed 17, 16, 15% ROI, it's intact.
Yes, the IRRs are on a debenture trust deed which is registered. So the monies. So now this is a financial question. I'll answer it slightly differently, Emil bhai. The whole exercise that we have done is to ensure that ऐसी कभी situation नहीं आए कि account में पैसा नहीं है, and that is why we control 100% of the source of the money and 100% of the escrow control, and we always have 1/4 of interest as a reserve, and we have conditions in the document debenture trust deed, which is also transparently shared with all the investors. If there is a requirement, the developer has to put in equity. Otherwise, we use the money that is needed in the project to service our own interest. And whenever needed, we can just go full-fledged or maybe partly and start or push the developer to sell the inventory, have enough money in the project, in the escrow account. And we do a proper business plan, so much so that I know exactly कितना पैसा कब आने वाला है, so that I know, and it is matched with the servicing periods or servicing dates. Because quarterly पे करते हैं तो मार्च, जून, सितंबर, दिसंबर के 4 डेट्स हमको पता है. इसका प्रिपरेशन बहुत पहले से शुरू हो जाता है.
पर अगेन सर, सेल्स हमारे हाथ में नहीं है ना.
सेल्स हमारे हाथ में है, वही तो एक्सप्लेन किया आपको मैंने.
सेल्स कैसे, मतलब मैं कैसे इंश्योर करूंगा सेल्स मेरे हाथ में रहे, क्योंकि एंड कस्टमर नहीं है प्रोजेक्ट में.
So I told you we have a company which does. So let's say we'll take the current live scenario जहां पर मैं 75 crores का issuance है, हेमल भाई.
Okay.
75 crores पे मैं अगर 16% का प्रोडक्ट है, मैं 3 साल ऑन पेपर हूँ, तो 50% मोटा मोटा पकड़ लीजिए. तो मुझे 120 करोड़ निकालना है वापस, मोटा मोटा.
Okay.
मेरी टीम महीने का 500 करोड़ बेचती है सर, राइट? एंड इट इज लिस्टेड. आई डोंट हैव टू बिलीव मी ऑल्सो. JUST जस्टो रियल, आपने एनारॉक सुना है, गार्डियन सुना है?
Yes.
Exactly same. The third largest entity, we hold a controlling position on the board to be able to use this company, and we have utilized it. Theoretical नहीं है, and we do it only in case of emergency. जैसे आप बोल रहे हो कि नहीं बिका तो till that time the developer has to approve the business plan. और business plan भी कैसे बनता है, I'll spend half a minute on that. आप जहाँ रहते हो, let's say I don't know where you, अभी let's say my office is अंधेरी. अंधेरी में रेजिडेंशियल का रेट अगर 30,000 रुपीज स्क्वायर फीट चल रहा है, एंड डेवलपर इज सेलिंग 5 यूनिट्स एट 30,000 रुपीज स्क्वायर फीट, आवर अजम्पशंस विच, बिकॉज मैं भी इन्वेस्टर हूँ भाई हेमल भाई, मैं सेलर नहीं हूँ, मैन्युफैक्चरर, सिर्फ मैन्युफैक्चरर नहीं हूँ कि मुझे फर्क नहीं पड़ता मेरा अजम्पशंस क्या है. सो आई विल आस्क हिम, इफ हेमल भाई इज द डेवलपर, हेमल भाई आप 30,000 में बेच रहे हो 5 यूनिट अ मंथ, कैन यू सेल एट 25,000 रुपीज एंड 5 यूनिट्स अ मंथ? ऑफ कोर्स द आंसर इज यस. अच्छा 25,000 या 20,000 पे बेच सकते हो क्या? ऑफ कोर्स द आंसर इज अ डबल यस. अच्छा आप 20,000 पे 5 की जगह 3 यूनिट बेच सकते हो क्या? एट दिस 20,000 एंड 3 यूनिट्स अ मंथ, एंड आपको मैं प्रूव कर दूंगा ये कैलकुलेशन इन एवरी ट्रांजैक्शन, मेरा फिर भी कवर 2x होता है. बिकॉज वी नो दैट दीज प्रॉब्लम्स अराइज. रियल एस्टेट में एक ही चीज परमानेंट है कि टाइम पे नहीं आता है कुछ भी, एंड वी अंडरस्टैंड दैट. वी हैव एक्सपीरियंस्ड मल्टीपल times these situations, and that's why our entire working is backwards. कि कल को ये situation आ गई तो my MSP, the minimum selling price, is so low than the market rate. I have the power of attorney. Don't forget, I have the right to appoint any sales agency. हम लोग force नहीं करते उसको. If he is a good developer, Himal Bhai is a good developer, then yes, he is a good developer, which means he knows how to do his cash flow planning well. बट अगर हेमल भाई की नीयत खराब हो गई या कैपेबिलिटी नहीं रही, एग्जीक्यूशन में गड़बड़ हुई, आई एम नॉट ऑन हिज मर्सी, ही इज एट माई मर्सी कि मैं मेरा पावर ऑफ अटर्नी या राइट्स यूज करके उतना ही बेचूंगा जितना मेरे को मेरा पैसा वापस दे दे. होप दैट आंसर्स योर क्वेश्चन हेमल भाई.
Yes.
Yeah. So we
Thank
have
you.
another question here from Shiraj ji. What is the fund size that is being invested in any project? Which I answered. We started with very small amount, 35, 40, 50 crores. But now we are at an average sweet spot of 75 to 100 crores. जहाँ पर the quality of developer is such that these are all really, really good mid-sized developers. In equity parlance, equity सबको समझ में आता है, इसलिए मैं हमेशा ये एग्जांपल लेता हूँ. कोई मिड कैप प्रोमोटर है जो रियली गुड वैल्यू फाइंड है, उसको लार्ज कैप बनना है तो उसको इंस्टीट्यूशनल सपोर्ट चल लगता है, मनी सपोर्ट लगता है. वी चूज वन डेवलपर आउट ऑफ 40 to 50 developers. We get transactions on a daily basis, and thankfully our terms are very, very clean and clear. Someone who agrees only sits on the table. Otherwise ऐसे कोई जल्दी नहीं है, मेरे पास पैसे का तो झाड़ है नहीं कि मैं सब अग्री कर लूं. So we are very, very cautious when we are selecting a project, a developer and a project. And that's why 75 to 100 crores is a really good spot and a really good developer category who wants to become big and wants to, let's say, borrow 150 crores or 200 crores tomorrow from Kotak's or HDFC's या Swami Fund या कोई और fund. So Vikas bhai पूछ रहे हैं, please clear how it is different from P2B property fractional in AIF. So this is exactly how an AIF works, Vikas bhai. It is not a fractional investment. Fractional में property खरीदी जाती है and you get units as a part owner of the property. This is debt. This is not equity ownership. Or fractional ownership में the exit is on the exit by the investment manager is against his own fee income, because और आपके पास units होते हैं. You can't sell your units in the market because inventory तो एक ही होती है, ownership तो एक बड़े unit का. यहाँ पर बड़े project का पूरा mortgage, let's say we are giving 75 crores, the project value would be 300 crores of sales. Entire 300 crores is mortgaged to all the investors pro rata basis, right? 75 crores के सामने उसका profit या free cash flow at least 150 crores होना चाहिए net after construction and after all the costs. 150 होना चाहिए वो. that is available for all the investors pro rata to take out. ये this is how exactly an AIF works. So we are AIF का stamp नहीं है, but we are an AIF only. Exactly, there is a trustee, there are monitoring agencies, we are the investment managers, we have our sponsor equity involved. But the difference is none of the AIFs have a forward integration by having their own sales team or a backward integration by having their own construction team. And that's why आपको ironically लगेगा, I had mentioned it to IFANOW also, these AIFs who take money from investors, from you and from investors to manage their money and promise that we are good fund managers, these AIFs give us the money to manage when it comes to real estate. It has happened multiple times. There is a reason, because we are more agile and we have a tech platform and we are on the ground and we don't do anything other than real estate and we have a background of exiting. The next question by Dinesh is, normally the repayment on these debentures are not structured. We never get info in advance that so much money is getting matured in the next fortnight or so. This leads to lack of proper cash flow. I agree to that. Normally on paper quarterly hota hai. So there is no reason for you to believe कि नहीं आएगा. अगर नहीं आने वाला है, तो then there is a communication past. But we have in the past also taken cognizance of this question कि cash flow management के लिए for the investors, it's better to give them a hint the next आपके ये NCD का interest payout आने वाला है without mentioning the amount. And what we have also done is we have given or made a portal for the investors to directly log in and see their cash flows. So there is no reason for us to worry कि आया नहीं तो पता नहीं. And we also keep the channel partners in CC whenever there is a product update or a cash flow statement that goes to the investors. And it is all tech driven, all AI driven and tech driven. Next question is, sir, for a 75 to 100 crore investment, the developer pledges what amount of shares that? Sir, we are senior and secured exclusive investors, which means मैं ही हूं पूरे प्रोजेक्ट में, मेरे अलावा कोई नहीं है और मैं सबसे ऊपर हूं as per Supreme Court, and I take 100% share pledge of the entire project. और हम लोग SPV लेवल पे देते हैं, मतलब स्पेशल पर्पस व्हीकल या कंपनी लेवल पे होता है. नॉर्मली अ गुड प्रैक्टिस बाय एनी डेवलपर, गुड डेवलपर इसके हर प्रोजेक्ट को एक सेपरेट कंपनी में डालो. वो कंपनी पैदा ही होती है प्रोजेक्ट के लिए और प्रोजेक्ट के साथ साथ वो मर भी जाती है. करेक्ट कंपनी. So ये पूरी company is not at the parent entity level. It is at the project level. So we control 100% of equity of the developer through power of attorney. Are you looking at distressed properties? No, we look at risk. For us, anything which complies with our risk parameters and future cash flows and the control that we want, we will invest. We don't ask for distress, or you won't believe none of my transactions have been distressed till date. But we are not averse to it, as long as I can see that I can control the outcome, or rather influence the outcome. Let's not use the word control. Influence the outcome. Yes, any developer can get associated with us. We have, just to answer your question, मैंने तो कुछ गिने चुने रिस्क बताए. Over the last 20 years, we have found 1140 or 1150 parameters. Of course, humanly impossible हो जाता है, इसलिए हम लोग टेक के थ्रू करते हैं, जहां पर एटलीस्ट वी नो हम लोगों को क्या देखना है. नॉट ऑल ऑफ इट वुड बी आंसर्ड, बट लॉट ऑफ इट इज आंसर्ड, एंड सम ऑफ देम आर नॉन नेगोशिएबल. लाइक वी टेक 100% share pledge, PG, personal guarantee, corporate guarantee. We are senior secured. I would want my power of attorney on the sales and the construction if tomorrow things go south. We don't do without these conditions at all. Another question is tax treatment on this product. This is all interest income. So the tax is the marginal tax rate depending on the investor's slab rate, and or the company or any domestic investor can invest in this. So we invest through our LP because we have interest expense also. So it is allowed to be set off against this interest incomes. So it works out well for us. But otherwise, individually, whatever the individual's tax rate is applicable. We are looking at the listed entity route also, jahan par after a particular holding period, let's say 12 months, the tax rate might come down. Usually नहीं होते हैं छोटे projects का listing, NCD का listing, but we are still trying to figure that out.
Good evening, sir. I'm Guruvel from Coimbatore.
Yes,
Real
sir.
real estate is the industry where the lot of black money is involved. More 50-50. More 50%
Yes.
of the total sales is in black. 50% is accountable.
Sir, in
More,
our system, zero, zero. I'll tell you how we control that. Your question is
just a
right. Is
minute,
there
sir.
any other question?
I will complete my question. But the
Sir,
sale prices are underestimated usually, and raw material prices is highly inflated. It is a labor intensive, and raw material is not built. Sand, labor, it is not measurable easily. Not coming from any corporate companies. It is from local
not with
workers.
us, sir. Not with
Oh,
us.
it is very difficult to control. That is
I'll
for
tell you,
my.
sir.
Okay, sir.
Good, good. No, no. So I'll tell you, sir, the simplest way to control is we put our own project management company on the ground. My project management company or monitoring company actually checks, I told this on the call also, checks every bill so that the developer does not say, "Ki, "Arey, instead of 1 ton, there is 10 ton of steel on the ground." No, it's not possible. We are in this industry, so we know the rates. And this PMC knows the rates. And this PMC only reports to us. This is not appointed by the developer. So there is no scope. See, 5% pilferage to a developer who is extra smart is allowed. It does not really matter to me, right? What matters is whatever money comes to me, the second part is whatever money comes to me is now dependent on the selling price that you're mentioning is usually underestimated. Guruvel sir, this MSP, minimum selling price, is set by us. And add that minimum selling price with a 20% buffer in the costing. We increase the costing by 20%. We reduce our assumption of sales by 20%. Of samajh rahe ho? On both the sides, we have a buffer. We have 12 months buffer. And despite all of that, our cover has to be 2x. And we give NOC from every sale. No sale can happen without my NOC. We know exactly who he is selling to and the buyer's PAN, Aadhaar, address. I know everything. And we do a sample calling also. We have done it practically to know, sir, what is the deal that was given to you? But for that, you need to have a doubt. If the developer is doing really well, we don't bother him. But let's say still he is able to extract that 5% cash. The way we incentivize him is that in our business plan, there is always an equity portion that has to come whenever I disburse him a particular tranche. So we incentivize him and tell him that we don't mind if you take that cash and put it back as equity because he has to bring the money from somewhere, any which ways. And it works like a charm. And the developer's confidence goes up. He does not do any jugglery then. Any
Yes, so
other question?
yes, so I have given right to all the participants, all the attendees to unmute themselves, so they can one by one unmute themselves, and if they have any questions, you can ask with message.
I think we should go by the raise of hand. That will be better. You can unmute everyone and then go by raise of hands.
So participants, you can raise your hand, and then Mr. Tejas will be taking your questions.
Okay. I think either I've explained it well, really well, or I've not explained it at all really well.
No, no,
But
it's
nevertheless, if there are any questions, we usually have FAQs and we have the decks shared with all the partners. And we have a team who's always available to answer questions on a particular transaction. We usually launch only one transaction at a time, one NCD at a time, which gets subscribed in 30 to 45 days. And this is also in tranches. So every time there will be one or the other NCD available to subscribe.
Sir, is there any liquidity option available in the during the tenure, or the customer has to stay locked in?
No, so by default, the monies are expected to stay for the entire tenure. The only liquidity event that can happen is because these are private placement debentures, it will happen happen if another investor is found and he replaces your investment or he buys your debentures, and that can be facilitated by the channel partner and by us on a best effort basis, because there will be a buy and sell quote that will come in the picture.
Right.
Hello.
Yes, Amrish.
Hello. So what is the minimum investment amount?
So we have so far kept the minimum as 25 lakhs, but we have also allowed 10 lakhs in the past. That is dependent on the number of investors. My restriction is not on the number of or the amount. My restriction is on the number of investors, 199. So depending upon for every one, so 199 investors for, let's say, a 100 crore issuance, which means that I need to have 50 lakhs. Sorry, correct, right? 50 lakhs,
3 lakhs.
20 lakhs.
200 customers.
200 crores or 50 lakhs. You're right. So 50 lakhs per
50 lakhs.
investor is the average. So for me, if I have investors, which I usually do, family offices and larger institutions who can do 1 crore plus, I am free then to take a 10 lakh paper also, or a 10 lakh investor also. So usually we have close to 100 to 150 investors subscribing to a 100 crore deal.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, everyone, if you have any other questions, you can ask Mr. Tejas.
Okay. So that's good, Avinash. I think we've crossed 1 hour.
Yes. Yes. So
of
I
timing
believe,
for
yes, thank you, Mr. Tejas, for taking out your time and coming for this webinar. We were having so many doubts, and yes, you have answered it very well. Thank you so much. Thank you
Thank you
everyone
so
to
much,
attending
everyone.
this webinar. We'll be sharing the recording also
Thank
for
you.
this to everyone, to all the attendees in some time. And if you have any queries, post this webinar also. And if you are new to IFANOW, my business development team will get in touch with you in the next week. And if you are an existing customer or existing IFA of IFANOW, you can connect with your RM and they will help you out with the same.
All right.
Thank you,
All
Mr.
right,
Tejas.
great. Thank you so much. Thank you, Avinash. Thank you so much. Thank you, IFANOW.